Hi, I'm Amber, welcome back to Cats Reads, and today I'm going to share with you my 6 film reviews. I have been going back and forth if I was going to start up film reviews again, and I decided that I wanted to. I enjoy talking about not just books, but about the films that I've watched. I'm not going to be that great at talking about the films, I'm not going to be as good or as analytical as I am with my books. I can at least talk about what I liked and didn't like, right? So I decided that it's worth doing. And with that said, let's just jump in with the first film, which was Griffin and Phoenix. This is about Griffin, who's divorced, has 2 kids that he's not very close with, and this is not a spoiler, it's told in the synopsis, you get it right off the bat in the film. He finds out that he has terminal cancer, and he decides to go and take a class about death, and he meets a woman named Griffin, and things start from basically there. At the very beginning, when I just finished watching this, I really wasn't thinking too deep on it, and I thought, it satisfied me in the sense that it got me in the emotional side, but as I was thinking upon it even more as time went on, I realized how poor of a film this actually was. For one, the very first scene you get, if I remember correctly, is him sitting in his car watching his kids play basketball, and you think that the kids are going to play a bigger role in the film because of how much a big deal they make of his lack of relationship with his kids at the beginning of the film. And then the rest of the film, they're maybe mentioned once or twice, and that was really disappointing to me because I was expecting and hoping for there to be more depth to the story and more of how is he going to handle telling his kids, and how would that change or affect his lack of a relationship with his kids in any shape or form, and you don't get that at all. I get that this is mainly supposed to be a romance between him and Phoenix, but they could have done more with the film. They could have added the kids in there, but I was really confused as to why they even made him have kids. Why was there that aspect in there at all, because they just never played that part in there at all. Secondly, the one major issue I have was the reveal that they had. There's this thing that I guess you could call it a twist, but I don't feel like it was much of a twist. It's not like I saw it coming, it's not like I knew it was going to happen, but when it did happen, I wasn't surprised. It wasn't shocking. But what it really made me feel was annoyed and frustrated, because it was too much. It was over the top, and it didn't make any sense at all. It was quite unrealistic to me. I liked the actors who played Griffin and Phoenix. I thought they did a great job. There was good chemistry between them. Actually, look at it, you realize there's just so many issues with the story, with the characters, with everything. It just doesn't, on a whole, this film does not make sense at all. So in the end, I had to give it 1.5 stars, and the half stars mainly because of the actors who played Griffin and Phoenix. The next film I watched was The Perfect Storm. This stars George Clooney. You have a smaller role of Mark Wahlberg, which I believe is one of his first roles ever, and some other actors that I can't place at this time. It's about a fisherman captain who, when they catch this big load, the first time they've caught a load of fish in a very long time, they decide to risk traveling through this storm that's been building up and is really, really, really bad, to save the fish, because if they waited, the fish would go rot. And so it's all about they're trying to survive this storm. I did think that the film took too long to actually start. There was this super long introduction of all the characters, and then they finally get onto the boat. And once they get onto the boat, once we actually get into that story, it's really good. But it took too long. It was too slow of a start for me. And also, the ending was kind of I didn't really expect that kind of ending, nor was I really hoping for it. It was just kind of disappointing to me in a way. I felt well, that was that. The thing is, for the most part, if you be kept with the time on the boat and the struggle they had with the Storm, it would get like a 5-star rating there because they did an amazing job. George Clooney was amazing in this role, and I don't think I've ever seen him in a role kind of like this. Like, when I think of George Clooney, I think of sophistication, and so I don't really ever thought of him playing in this kind of role, but he did a great job, and so did the supporting actors. But overall, this film gets 4 stars. The third film that I picked up was Step Up All In, and I should have just avoided this film. I think everybody by now knows what Step Up is, the Step Up franchise. You know, it started out with a really good, strong story and dancing and everything, but with each film it gradually got worse, and this was the worst film I've ever seen coming out of the Step Up franchise. There was basically no story. It was all the dancing, and I don't mind that in a way, in the sense that I love the dancing. It was amazing. It blew me out of the water. What story there was super cheesy. The acting was awful, and I think that a lot of that had to do with the dialogue, which was just really awkward and cheesy. Everything about this one was pretty cheesy. So it was just the most disappointing film I've ever watched in a long time, probably since Black Hat. I don't know, if you go into this film just to watch the dancing, then you're going to be really satisfied because the dancing is amazing. But if you want not just great dancing, but a great story and great acting, you're not going to be satisfied at all. So then I had to give this one 1 star. Next we have Hours, and this is about a man whose wife dies in childbirth, and this is New Orleans. This is when a hurricane came through, and it's like, it's all about the aftermath and how he has to try to keep his daughter alive throughout that time when everything was just chaotic and a huge mess. This is like a quiet, subtle told film where Paul Walker basically just is on his own. Like, it all relies on how good of an actor Paul Walker is for this film to be pulled off well, and he did an amazing job. I did find it kind of boring at times. Like, it was just, sometimes it just, like, there was nothing happening really. It was just the same thing happening over and over again. But towards the end it did get much more stronger, in the sense that there was more things going on and you felt like you weren't like getting the same thing. But it kind of like, this was like this really long, slow, repetitive story with this really abrupt ending, and then you don't even really get to know like what happens with them at the end. So it was just kind of frustrating. But because of Paul Walker, I think the film did get pulled off pretty well. I just think that you have to be really into these kind of quiet, subtle films in order to enjoy it. And I did enjoy it on some levels, but it's one of those films where you could be doing something else and you wouldn't be missing anything. So I do give it 3 stars. It would have gotten 4 stars, but because, like I said, you know, on the whole, it just wasn't the greatest film for me. The 5th film that I watched was Mordecai, starring Johnny Depp. And okay, I will say that this is probably one of the most ridiculous films I've ever watched. Like, it's silly, it's kind of on the stupid side. It is sarcastic, like it's making fun of that genre, that type of film. And maybe I wouldn't have liked this at another time in my life. Maybe if I rewatched it, I won't like it. But this is the type of film that Johnny Depp does best in, and he did an amazing job, and it was hilarious. And I absolutely loved my time watching it. Like, it was enjoyable in the moment to watch it. I know that maybe if I do watch it, like I said again, I probably wouldn't enjoy it as much. It's meant to be like really funny, and they kind of go over the top with a lot of things, but it's meant to be like that, and so you understand that and you enjoy it at the moment, but you're not going to enjoy it the second time you watch it, kind of thing. That, for me, that's the way this was. It just was hilarious. It was ridiculous, it was stupid, but it was hilarious, and I absolutely love Johnny Depp in this. I had to give it 4 stars. 6th and last film that I watched is Black Seas. This is about 3 men who decide to get up a crew in order to take the submarine out and go for search of this Nazi gold. Jude Law stars in this. It's an intense film with great visuals and great acting, especially by Jude Law, who really did such an amazingly well job in showing like the effects of being in such close quarters and the pressure of him being the captain and trying to do right by everybody, and just the way it affected him mentally and emotionally was amazing, and Jude Law did such an amazing job showing those effects. I really enjoyed seeing like the whole psychological effect on the whole crew. Like, this is, you're in an enclosed space and not everybody's really liking each other, and just seeing kind of how it affects everybody in their own different way was amazing. And I will say this is a bit slow at times, but I think it plays well with how intense this film is and how they were doing their best to make it intense, and just like in subtle ways with the interactions with the characters and just the way things were playing out. So I think they all did an amazing job. I loved the visuals. I loved the way they played it all out with the submarine, which is kind of crazy to think about, that they were actually on a submarine and you know you had to work with what you got, kind of a thing. So an amazingly well done. It was 4.5 stars. So there you go. Those were the 6 films that I've watched recently. Tell me down below if you watched any of these. What did you think of them? I would love to talk to you about them in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching, and keep smiling.